Alright, today we're going to be discussing The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveller, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just a fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though, as for the passing there, had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, and leaves no step had been trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somber ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. So, before we continue, I just quickly want to discuss the rhyme scheme of the poem. It follows an A-B scheme for all the stanzas. It's written in an iambic thermeter, meaning it has, if I can say, 4 feet, and each foot consists of an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. For example, two roads diverge in a yellow wood. It creates the pattern da-dum, 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 da-dum. And for the tone, it's contemplative and slightly regretful. The speaker is reflecting of his past, the choices he made, mistakes, and the possibility of different outcomes had he chosen a different action or spoken different words. For example, the word sigh in the final stanza, it's a mixture. It's nostalgia, regret, how he might even be contempt. It's open for the reader's interpretation, for themselves to think how would they feel in the situation? How do they think he felt? So, a quick analysis before we continue. The Road Not Taken is a reflective, philosophical poem about choices, consequences, and the important impact of life decisions. Frost uses the metaphor of a traveler choosing between two different roads, hence the road not taken, to explore the broader theme of making decisions and how those decisions shape one's life. So, in stanza 1, two roads diverged in a yellow wood. The poem begins with the speaker facing a decision, symbolized by two diverging roads in a yellow wood. For those of you who don't know, a yellow wood, it's a representation of time changing. It's changing to autumn. And sorry, I could not travel both. He's, in this line, expressing how he regrets being unable to take both roads. For this symbolizes how in life one cannot explore every possible outcome. And that's why it's important to make choices. And look down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. The speaker is carefully examining one path, but can only see so far. This highlights the uncertainty that accompanies making decisions. One day I decide one thing, the other I might be disappointed or mad at myself for not choosing the other. Now in stanza 2. Then took the other as just a fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. In the stanza, the speaker is choosing the other road, believing it to be less traveled. Because it has more grass, it looks less worn, less people should have obviously been through that. Though, as for that passing there, had warned them really about the same. Here he acknowledges that both paths have been worn similarly. Each has been taken by the same amount of people. Sometimes in life, decisions may seem to lead to different outcomes, but sometimes those outcomes are the same or almost exactly the same. In stanza 3, and both that morning equally lay. The speaker observes that both roads are covered in untrodden leaves, indicating that neither path has been taken recently. And leaves no step had trodden black. So that right there, that indicates that both have not been taken recently. Oh, I kept the first for another day. The speaker in this line is contemplating returning to the other path for another day, but he realizes that one decision leads to another, making it unlikely that they will ever return to the crossroads. Yet knowing how way leads onto way, I doubted if I should ever come back. This right here is emphasizing the permanence of choices in life. We can never go back and change what has been set in stone. Okay, I shall be telling this with a sigh. The speaker imagines that in the future they will recount the decision with a sigh, implying a mix of emotions, perhaps, like we said earlier, content, regret, or nostalgia. For nostalgia again, it's important to look at ages and ages hence. He's thinking back in time, always telling himself how he's going to be thinking about this moment back in time. Two roads diverged in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by. The speaker here is concluding that choosing the road less traveled by has made a significant difference in their life. Maybe he or she has met new people, saw new things they wouldn't have otherwise. They've learned to embrace the unknown, the uncertain, to experience life to the fullest. And that has made all the difference. Whether this difference is positive or negative, we don't know, it's left ambiguous. But he's reflecting on that uncertainty that comes with all the decisions. Okay, a quick rundown of the themes. Number one, choices and consequences, my personal favorite. The central theme of this poem is that when we make decisions, those decisions have consequences that follow them. Be they good, be they bad. They define us as people, they define our lives. The speaker is symbolizing the road as the choices we make in life. Once a choice is made, it leads to a certain outcome and limits the possibility of returning to explore the other option. For a personal example, my friend is a bartender and we work in a bar sometimes. And the other day it was the Springboks rugby game and the Springboks won against New Zealand. Now, because of his choice to wear a New Zealand shirt, I am forever going to be rubbing the score in his face. Can he maybe wear a Springbok shirt next game and I might forgive him? Maybe. But the possibility of that is small. Hence, he is now facing the consequence of his choices. Individuality and nonconformity. The speaker's choice of the road less traveled suggests a desire to be abstract, abnormal, unconventional, symbolizing his need, his feeling for individualism. However, the poem questions whether the road really was less traveled, leaving the reader to wonder if the idea of nonconformity is an illusion. Regret and reflection. The sigh in the final stanza suggests a reflection of the choices he made. There is an underlying tone of regret, or at least acknowledgement, that one must live with the consequences of the decision, even if they are uncertain of the outcome. We can't change the past, but we can learn from it, and we can change how we act based on what we learned from it. Uncertainty of life. Also a favorite. This poem emphasizes that despite all our best efforts, we cannot control everything in our life. Something might go right, something might go wrong. Opportunities come out of nowhere and we lose them everywhere. We cannot foresee the outcomes of our future or the outcomes of decisions we'll have later on. For example, in this, he speaks about looking down the path in the poem, or the road. Just as he cannot see where the road leads to, we cannot see how our choices will affect our lives later on. Or in this case here, just as we cannot predict where our life's choices will lead us. Okay, so a quick few symbols about the poem, the roads. Once again, they symbolize choices we face in life. The speaker must choose between them, knowing they can't go back and try the other later. The yellow wood It represents change and transitioning, and as well as autumn. And it also is fitting to the theme of making life-altering decisions. You cannot dress for summer and autumn or winter and autumn. You dress for autumn and autumn. And the sigh. This can be both regret, but it can also be a sign of release. It adds emotional depth to the speaker's reflection. Now, in conclusion, the donut taken uses a simple scenario, choosing between two roads, as a metaphor for life's complex decision-making progress. The consistent rhyme scheme, reflective tone, and use of metaphorical imagery emphasizes the poem's themes of choice, individuality, and the uncertainty of life's path. And that is all. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a good day further.